Blast me to the mortal realms. It's time for the Mad Merlins review of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer, issue 54 by Hachette Partworks and Warhammer. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer video review. And today we're taking a look at issue 54, and it's a very green issue. As you can see here, we learn all about the demon god Nurgle, and we have a brand new unit for our Gloomspite Gits. These are the Sneaky Snufflers. So before we dive into the video, don't forget to do all the usual. Like this video if you're enjoying the Age of Sigmar content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We are now way past 500 subscribers and continuing to grow. So a big thank you to all my followers, whether you're on Patreon or here on YouTube. Finally then, don't forget to check all the links in the video description down below, including that Patreon, where I'm getting more and more content updated for you guys as we speak. So let's dive into issue 54 and we'll take a look at these sneaky little snufflers. Into the issue we go. So we get two frames. We'll have a closer look at these in just a sec. They seem identical. Yeah. Pretty cool. And we also get 6 32mm bases for them to go on. And then we have our issue, so we get the 6 Sneaky Snufflers, we learn about the Maggotkin of Nurgle, and we have tactics for our order factions. So first off, let's take a close look at those frames. So as they're both identical, we'll just take a look at the one frame. So as you can see, we've got the 3 different bodies on each frame, plus a 4th body to make up one champion in the unit. We got various different heads, little backpack details as well. We got little sickle-scythed weapons here. Then we got squigs with snooters that can sniff out the enemies. And of course we've got the legs there as well. We've got quite a few head options as well, so we can make each one look a little different, which would be quite nice. Help make things a little more unique. Moving on to our magazine then, let's take a look at issue 54. So our full contents, we have the Maggotkin of Nurgle, the Afterlives and Underworlds. We have our collect, build, paint and play articles for the Sneaky Snufflers. We have order tactics, and we have our latest battle, the Motherlode. So we'll start with Maggotkin of Nurgle. Revelling in their own afflictions, the Maggotkin of Nurgle march to the dull tolling of rusted bells, bringing disease and damnation to all they meet. They aim to transform the lands into festering gardens of pestilence and decay as a tribute to their god, who they lovingly refer to as Grandfather Nurgle. So one of the 4 sub-factions of chaos dedicated to the god of disease, Nurgle, as it's mentioned. The Maggotkin of Nurgle are mortal and demonic followers of Nurgle. We see here a Lord of the Blights, who's a army general. He has a very Nurgle-like shield in the form of a fly. He has a big rusted mace and carries a hangman's beam on his back with a few heads that he's taken in the name of Nurgle. We've got some of the lesser demons. We've got the plague bearers here, plague toads in the background, and blight drones up in the skies. So they're all about decay, regrowth, and bountiful gifts. So in a way, Nurgle is a god of life because he brings about new life in the form of new diseases. He enjoys death as well, as it is part of the process. And most of his followers tend to be bloated, seeping, oozing sores, pustules, and spilling out their own innards. Not a lovely lot. We got things like the Sloppity Bile Pipers there, the Plague Bearers, and a Nurgle Lord there with his giant rusted axe. So yeah, pretty gruesome, but pretty cool at the same time. Moving on then, we look at the Afterlives and Underworlds. Shyish contains the many underworlds to which the spirits of the dead are sent. The underworlds are formed from the beliefs of the souls who arrive there. If they expect a paradise, they get one. If they expect damnation, Shyish obliges. But Shyish is not a realm of the dead alone, and many mortals live alongside the departed. So, Crusades in Shyish, we see Stormcasts here. Yeah. There's mortal followers, as well as the followers of Nagash himself. Overside, we got the Ossiarch Empire, Land of Dead Heroes, the Land of the Ghosts, and the Flesh Eater Kingdoms as well. So, personal favourite there, the Flesh Eater Courts. And we have the Ghosts of the Night Haunts there. Pretty cool. Learning more about the Realm of Death. Moving on, let's start learning about our brand new unit. So we got the Sneaky Snufflers. So Sneaky Snufflers are specialist foragers who provide a unique and valuable service on the battlefield. Dragged along by their snuffle squigs, they harvest valuable mystic fungus from the battlefield to enhance nearby units with the mushroom's mind-altering properties. So, as usual, we got a traits table to roll on. We have a little bit about the bad moon rising, as the Gloomspite gets follow the cycles of the moon and await the time and the arrival of the bad moon. We have unit traits there. We see them built and painted there. Then we can name the unit using our naming chart, and we got some great deeds to tick off as well. So, how to build our squigs? So, we get 2 identical frames, and we want to make sure we check the build guides closely. So, we have different backpacks for the mushrooms. So, 2 of 10, 2 of 11, 2 of 12. We have 6 different head options. 17 is a champion's head. 18 is an alternate champion's head, and then we got 4 regular heads there as well, and we get 2 of each, as it's, again, duplicated frames. And for the squigs, we got to glue the 2 halves of their main body together, so they're not as big as regular squigs, as they are all nose. And then we got a choice of heads, so we can make each squig unique. Then we build up our bodies for our units. So we put the mushrooms in their backpacks first, glue the 2 halves of the body together, glue on their separate arm, glue the head on, and then we just glue them to the base and glue the rope to the back of the squig there. And there we have our unit. Moving on, we start painting these guys. So as with all Gloomspite kits, we're painting them with Abaddon Black first, picking out ropes and levers with Catch and Flesh, skin with Auric Flesh, the metal weaponry with Leadbelcher, painting the squig with Corn Red as well as any pouches, picking out the rope holding the squig and the rope around his waist with Wraithbone as well as the backpack full of mushrooms. Corax White to use to pick out some of the other smaller mushrooms to help make them a little more different when we add colours later. Paint the eyes of the squigs with Avalan Sunset, pick out some of the mushrooms with Cantor Blue, other ones with Mephiston Red, and Baraknar Burgundy to paint the spider backpack. I've just noticed that it is a spider backpack, that's kind of cool. And then Retributor armor for any moon icons. Moving on to shading, we want to shade pretty much everything with Nuln Oil, with the exception of the mushrooms. You want to leave them white and then pick them out with Skeleton Horde. Paint the red mushrooms with Vagrax Earthshade. Paint the flesh with Aphonian Camera Shade. Gold and yellow details with Rank of Flesh Shade. And finally Griff Charger Grey to highlight some of the other mushrooms that we've already left. On to highlighting, so we are using Ogren Camo to highlight the skin and Storm Silver to highlight the metals. And that's our Sneaky Snufflers so far. That look pretty cool. Lovely painted unit. Yeah, they'll look good leading a squig force or aiding a squig force on the battlefield. So we got the rules then for our Sneaky Snufflers. So they have a move of 5, 6+ save, bravery 4, 2 wounds each. They have the Loon Fungus Sickle, and the Squigs have Gnashers. So they're considered to have companions. They're off their eds, so they have a 5+ ward save thanks to the power of the fungus. Then they have Loon Cap Mushrooms at the start of the movement phase. You can say you're harvesting mushrooms. If you do, it cannot move, but roll a dice, add 1 if the unit is affected by light of the bad moon. 1 to 2, nothing happens. 3+, you pick up a friendly Loon Spike Gits unit. Within 12, this unit, that unit has a 5+ ward until your next hero phase. In addition, if the harvesting roll was a 6, add 1 to their attack characteristics till your next hero phase. Pretty cool. So yeah, nice little support unit. You want to keep them close by to your other Loon Spike Git units and give them a nice little buff. Moving on, we've got some tactics. This one looks at Ylfari's Guardians. So we have high damage, high versatility, but they are only a small unit of few models. So pretty cool. Nice, you have your Ylfari there casting, and then the 3 Guardians with their specialist war gear. So they are a pretty potent unit on the tabletop. And then we have a tactic page all about the Spirit of Durfu. So he is a monster. So yeah, definitely a monster of that size. He has good abilities though, so make use of those as and when you can. But he does have a damage table, so he will some of his abilities will diminish as he takes wounds later on. Finally then, we're into our brand new battle for the week. So battle plan for the Motherlode. So we pick our forces of order, 2 hero options and 4 troop options, and the same for our Alliance of Destruction. So we're using all 3 mats, and we are putting out a lot of objectives. So 9 in total. So 5 there and 4 there. So a lot of objectives to score. So what do we score? We score 1 point for each objective we hold. If we hold 2 or more objectives, we score another point. 1 point for more than the opponent. So, buried secrets. At the end of your turn, after checking control of objectives, but before you score your points, you may explore for treasure under any of the objectives you control. For each objective you choose to explore, roll a dice. 1, 2, or 3, the objective is booby-trapped. You will suffer D3 mortal wounds. On a 4, 5, or 6, you score a victory point immediately. After exploring objectives, you then score victory points as normal. So a nice way of getting some bonus victory points there. So a really fun, nice little mission, and can be played out with pretty much any sort of force. I might even do that with my order forces against either my Skaven or my Flesh Eater Corps. So we got mustering for battle guide here. So Ian and Eve are picking their forces. Eve's gone for order, so she's got the Tree Revenants, the Spite Revenants, the Knight Arcanum, Lord Imperatant, the Praetors, and the Vigilors there. Not Vigilors, Vindictors. So yeah, her strategy is to control as many objectives as possible, and indeed score as many points as possible whilst doing some massive damage to the enemy. Ian, on the other hand, has gone for Molog and his mob. He's got the Boinglet Bounders, the Fanatics, the Cave Squig, Loon Boss, the Swamp Caller, Marsh Caller Slogoth, the Beast Skewer Killbow, and the Man Skewer Bolt Boys. So quite a nice mix, and yeah, he's going to make sure he snipes a few units, buffs others, and in general, run amok. On the back page, we have 9 objective markers, as we need 9 in this mission, and we've only had 6 so far. So yeah, we get objectives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So best thing to do is get a 40mm base and put it over the objective. Ask an adult for supervision here, because you'll want to make sure you have a cutting mat underneath or a thick piece of card you don't mind cutting into. And you'll want to just trace around the base. So hold the base down with your finger and get a knife or even just the end of a scissors and score around until it comes out. And then you can stick it down to a piece of card or even stick it down to a base if you've got a spare 40mm base. So like I said, ask adult supervision to cut these out one way or the other. But that's my top tip, using a base as a sort of a guideline. Into the future then, so issue 55, we get a brand new piece of terrain, the Domicile Shell. So these came out with the starter sets, and yeah, pretty cool buildings. Can't wait to get them build those up. I need to get some more terrain for my Age of Sigmar collection. We learn about the 10 paradises and also the terrible wastes. Finally then, in issue 56, we get some more Kharadron models. So we get Thundrix Profiteers, a lovely unit of Kharadron overlords. So we got 2 Arcanauts, we got a Grundstock Gunner, the Sky Warden, and an Aether Chemist there as well, who is Thundrix himself. I've actually got a unit of these, and I've painted them up in Barak Zon, which is the red and blue Skyport, and I might continue that for the rest of my Kharadron collection. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, the paint guide will paint them up as Barak Nar, and I might paint these up as Barak Nar, but the rest of my collection are painting up a little different, as I've already got these guys. So having 2 unique versions of a warband would be quite nice. So I'll bring the models back in. I'll give you my final thoughts on issue 54. So there we have issue 54, a rather nice little issue for Adlings by Gitz Force. We get this nice unique unit there to add to our collection. We learn about Nurgle and the different realms of death. And of course we have a rather nice expanded mission to play through. Some more order tactics are also quite nice, focusing more on the Sylvaneth stuff as this time. So that's pretty cool. Nice to give us a little bit of advice on how best to use our units. Very, very helpful, I think. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Can't say much else. Great issue. Give it a 5 out of 5. Probably would have given it a little higher out of 10 if I was collecting these. But as I am giving these to my friend Marcio, they're pretty cool, but I don't get to enjoy them as much. But I am looking forward to the next delivery as we get a nice lot of Kharadron stuff and that terrain as well. Can't wait for that. Right, there we have it. That was issue 54 of Stormbringer magazine. Let me know what you thought of that in the comment section down below. And yeah, until next time, stay safe and happy hobbying. Goodbye.